If you watching this video right now, please spam the like button and spam, leave a comment, drop a comment, something, man. Alright, we trying to get these videos up in the algorithm. I see y'all enjoying these. Alright, but in order to, for me to keep it going, y'all gotta show some support, show some love, man. So spam that like button. Alright, but today, we gonna react to 5 times Larry Bird was injured but refused to quit, man. Alright? We all know Larry was a goon, Larry was a dog, man. Larry wasn't gonna quit. You feel me? So without further ado, finna hop right into this video. Larry Bird.
You know, to his credit, he gets up and fights through it and goes out there and plays, but he is not a healthy person right now.
I've never met an athlete that would play with pain the way he does, and an athlete that's so highly self-motivated as Larry Bird.
I think 4 or 5 years you'll think back about what he did, or you'll just, you'll go that. I think it's one of those things that as the years go by, it'll become bigger and bigger and bigger.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back with another video. But this time, once again, we have to talk about Larry Legend.
Spam that like button, man. Drop a like.
One of my favorite players of all time. And I think even the most casual NBA fan knows that Larry Bird in his career was a very tough player, and he overcame tremendous adversity as well as injuries. And I wanted to make a very quick video explaining how tough Larry Bird was and just some of the big time injuries he overcame. So with that being said, let's get into the video and look at 5 times Larry Bird overcame injuries and absolutely dominated. So the first injury we're going to look at is from 1979, before Larry Bird was even in the NBA. And this injury occurred in a friendly softball game with Larry Bird's brother as well as friends. And here's Jackie McMullen explaining this very bizarre and peculiar injury.
Well, he shows up, and who's on the other team but his brother? So Larry's playing out in the outfield, and his brother hits this kind of spinning, looping ball, almost like a Tim Wakefield knuckleball. It's just spinning all over the place. And Larry tries to go down and make a basket catch, and his finger goes all the way back, and he's like, man, wow, it really hurts. And you look down, and his finger was completely dislocated and mangled, and it really was bothering me. He had to stop playing right away. And
damn, Larry! Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that shit happened to me one time, Chad. My finger completely dislocated out the socket, G. Like when I say, so I was hooping. I was in like 7th grade. I went up to get the rebound. Gang, when I say the basketball fell split in between these fingers like this, man, this finger was hanging over like this. Imagine this finger, alright, but my shit was hanging over like that, Chad. Like my shit was really like broke. It was this finger specifically. Like my finger was like this instead of like this. You get what I'm saying? Man, I fucked my shit up, man. That shit hurt.
Remember, he's been drafted by the Celtics during this point, but he has not signed a contract yet. So his finger is in a bad way. He has to have major surgery with clips put in and pins and everything else. And he never tells the Celtics this has happened. But, sooner or later they get word, and they summon him to Boston. And the trainer examines him and says, and the team doctor examines him, and they say to Red Auerbach, this guy's damaged goods. Now, Red's like, really? So he says, come on, Larry, get dressed. So Larry puts on his stuff. Red throws him the ball. He goes out. He starts shooting from all over the floor. He's hitting from everywhere. Throws him a few bounce passes, has him throws a few overhead passes, and he said, you look fine to me, kid. And Bird said, great. But Bird to this day will tell you he's never had the same feel for the basketball.
Dang.
So obviously a pretty bad finger injury that affected Bird for the rest of his life. And around 2010, Larry Bird gave an interview and said his finger to this day is shaped like a boomerang at a 45-degree angle pointing toward his thumb.
Dang.
And he's had 2 surgeries that have failed to straighten it out. But I think the most intriguing thing in that clip is that Larry Bird himself said he never had the same feel for the basketball after this injury. And Bird, for his career already, was one of the best shooters of all time. He was the first player ever to win the 50-40-90 club, and he routinely shot over 90% from the line. But with that being said, Bird actually could have been a better shooter than he was in the NBA if it wasn't for that devastating finger injury. Now, next up on the Bird injury list, we go to his back, one of the worst injuries a player could ever have. And this injury for Bird occurred in 1985 in the middle of his prime.
Man.
And his doctor, as well as a few commentators, talking about how tough Bird was and how difficult it was for him to even play a basketball game.
Larry had two jobs his last 7 years of playing. It was playing basketball, and then it was him being committed to taking care of his back.
He had first heard it in 1985, building the driveway at his mom's house back in French Lick.
Tweaking.
Larry decides to do it himself. This is Larry Bird, the superstar, out there breaking his back, literally shoveling gravel. And that was the beginning of a process.
I would see him on TV laying down, and then they told me that he had to lay down on planes, different things like that. And I was like, wow.
As Magic soared through the prime of his career, Bird was breaking down.
Damn.
His deteriorating back and punishing style of play proving an excruciating mix.
From 88 to 92, it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover. Larry is quite ornery when he's not feeling well, which means he was ornery for those next 4 years.
He could manage the pain in a way that very few people can do.
If you get paid to go to work, you got to go to work.
It was a situation that he was seeing almost daily. He had lost the structural stability in his spine, so it would slip into abnormal positions to try and lock itself to get an artificial stability.
Damn, Larry.
That's like getting your finger stuck in a door and somebody's still pushing on the door. So what we had to do was unlock his spine, realign it, do techniques that would hold that for 4 hours, 6 hours, that type of thing, and then he'd go play basketball.
Man, any of y'all that know that hoop, if y'all hooped at a serious level, like at the highest level for a long period of time, if you ever played with a back injury, man, you already know that's one of the most wicked things you can do, G. Is play through a back injury, like, or have a back injury and want to play, but you can't because your back's so stiff, like your lower back. Me specifically, I had bad lower back problems, Chad, when I used to hoop. Like, man, when I say it would take me the most to just be able to, like, warm up and get ready to sprint and do all that shit, man, I had to go through, like, a whole 15, 20-minute, like, warm-up just to get my back right, folks. So I would have to get to practice early, games early, all that shit just to work on my back, man. That shit's bad, folks. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know.
So obviously that back injury was pretty devastating for Bird, and it kind of marked the end of his prime. But even with that being said, Bird in his last 7 seasons still put up tremendous stats, averaging 25.1 points per game, 9.3 boards, 7.0 assists on near 50 40-90 splits. Those stats right there from an offensive perspective are still some of the best stats of all time. And once again show Bird could handle pain like few athletes ever. And one of the most remarkable things I've ever heard comes from Larry Bird's former teammate, that being Robert Parrish. According to Parrish, Larry Bird never took painkillers, pills, or any shots in his entire career. Bird simply toughed it out and showed mental toughness as well as physical toughness and played basketball at the highest level for 7 more years. Now also one thing...
Now, that's why I disagree with Larry. Like, Larry, that was some dumbass shit. Like, you weren't taking no shots, you weren't taking no pain meds, you weren't taking shit. Like, you was just out there straight off the yak from the night before. Because y'all know Larry was off that yak. They say Larry used to be in the bars night before the game, getting it going. So you telling me you ain't had no pain meds, no pain pillars, nothing, Larry? Man, Larry was a straight goon, man. That's what I call being a goon. Nigga off that yak, don't need no pills, nothing, folks. No stretching, no shots, nothing. Just straight yak on the back. That rhyme, folks. Larry straight yak for the back.
Kevin McHale talking about Larry Bird's mental toughness after being stuck down in an airport for 10 straight hours.
Back then when we flew commercial, we didn't fly private. We played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel into the arena. I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting on the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired. And, and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple other few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me?
Larry, folks. You bragging about eating glizzies all day, gang? Larry, I'm not like dead ass. What the hell do you eating glizzies all day got to do with you busting their ass, man? Huh? Niggas just love glizzies, folks. I'm gonna start calling your ass Glizzy Folks Larry, G. Alright? Glizzy Folks Larry bragging about eating glizzies before the game and shit. Man, that glizzy ain't help you do shit, Larry. You was gonna bust their ass regardless, man. Fuck you talking about, man?
And we went out and just hammered them. I mean, we terrorized them. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
That's what I'm saying.
And that story from Kevin McHale, for the most part, is pretty comical. But I think it still shows Larry Bird had extreme mental toughness. And when it came to playing basketball, he would give it his best every single night. And I actually went back to Larry Bird's game charts, and I found this game from 1986 on April 13th. In this game, Boston beat New Jersey by 28 points. Larry Bird had 26, 4, and 3 on 64% shooting, and he didn't miss a single three-pointer or a single free throw. And what makes it even more impressive to me is this game versus New Jersey was the last game of the season. Bird could have easily packed it in and waited for the playoffs,
oh my God.
But still, he wanted to play this game for his teammates as well as his coaches. And that year in 86, Larry Bird didn't miss a single game playing all 82. And if you compare that mindset from Bird to the modern day players, it's simply night and day.
Damn.
I pretty much guarantee you.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like, Larry was really like playing through these injuries. And that's the difference in mindsets from back then and now. Niggas making so much money nowadays. Niggas' brands is so important. Niggas don't want to get hurt. So it's like they will low manage. They will sit out games. Even though it's fans out there that's paying good money to come see them play every game. Niggas just don't care no more, bro. For some reason, NBA players just do not care about that loyalty to the fans and all that shit. And I'm not saying it's every NBA player. But the superstars that do it, they know who I'm talking about. Y'all bogus as hell, man. These motherfuckers out here paying their hard-earned money to come see y'all play. Y'all not giving them what they paid for, G. You feel me? Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Kobe. I love them guys so much because they respected the average fan. They respect their time, their money. They made sure they was going to play every game if they could, man. Wasn't none of this low management shit, none of that, man. Feel me? So I fucks with Larry for that. Larry was a real goon playing through these injuries, man.
Any modern day superstar would 100% sit out that game and rest for the playoffs, but not Larry Bird. And when talking about Larry Bird in his prime, 1980 to 86, really before his big time injuries, he played 561 out of 574 games. He played all 82 games 3 times and over 36 minutes per game every single year. In 2 years, he actually led the NBA in minutes per game.
What?
So back in the day, Larry Bird, if he could walk, he was 100% suiting up and playing basketball. But the one time in Bird's career where he simply could not play was in 1989. This year, Larry Bird had severe bone spurs, he had what many people thought was a broken foot, and he had double Achilles surgery. And back in the day, an Achilles injury could possibly be the end of your career. But once again, not for Larry Bird, as the following year, he had a very great and underrated season, averaging 24.3 points per game, 9.5 boards, 7.5
This is
assists,
actually a great stat line.
75 games at 39.3 minutes per
This
game.
is the year after
while
he
leading
just
the
didn't
NBA
play.
in free throw percentage. So even after all his injuries, Larry Bird once again came back to all-star form, and he overcame double Achilles surgery. Now,
double Achilles? G? Damn, folks. Double Achilles surgery, man. Oh, hell no, folks. Look, Larry wasn't even around there walking, G. You can't walk on no double Achilles surgery, man. Motherfuckers was pushing Larry around good wheelchair, G. There's no way. You got 2 Achilles surgeries, man. Your shit was aching like a motherfucker, Larry. I bet your ass took some pain medicine in, huh? Like you talking about I ain't taking those shots, pain. Man, I'm popping them pills, man. Oh, yeah, I'm shooting all type of drugs, nigga. I ain't finna have no damn 2 Achilles surgeries. And motherfucker ain't popping no pills or nothing. Y'all got me fucked up, man. For real.
We have is in 1991. And his injury is also the last great Larry Bird moment in the 91 playoffs versus the Indiana Pacers. And to kind of set the stage, in this series, Boston, they were heavily favored, but in games 1 through 4, Bird was not playing up to par, only averaging 18 points per game, 9 assists, 8 boards, on 37% shooting, and 11% from 3. And back in the day in the first round, it was a best-of-5 series, so Game 5 was a winner-take-all game. And near halftime of this game, Larry Bird would go down with a severe head injury, possibly a broken cheekbone, as well as a mild concussion.
Right here, the swipe knocks it free. Bird on the floor.
Right on his face. I seen that shit. Damn, Larry.
What effort by Larry Bird.
Like, Larry, you ain't brace your fall or nothing, gang.
And Larry Bird is headed directly to the locker room for treatment.
But in typical Larry Bird fashion, he would tough it out and come back in the middle of the third quarter.
And here comes Larry Bird. But certainly this out of the pages of Willis Reed in Game 5 of the championship series involving the Knicks and the Lakers in 69-70.
And in this Game 5 in the Boston Garden, from that moment on, Larry Bird would dominate for the remaining 18 minutes of that game, having 17 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists, on 60% shooting, leading Boston to a 3-point win. And that Game 5 versus Indy is the last great Larry Bird moment as he overcame injury and dominated in that second half. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts. How tough do you think Larry Bird was? Is he the greatest trash talker of all time? And where do you rank him on your all-time list? Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.
Alright, man, that's the end of the video. You know, Larry Bird was a real tough player, man. Real tough cookie, you know. And I always, like I said, I admire that about Larry. Man, let me fix my hair real quick. Like I said, man, I admire that about Larry, Mike, Kobe, LeBron, any of these guys that just play every game like it's their last, or they make sure they suit up every game because they know it's somebody in the stands that pay good money to come see them play. And this may be their first or even last time ever seeing them play, bro. So they try to make the most of everybody's, you know, money. Gee, they give people their money's worth. And that's why I love Mike, man. I love Larry, bro. Them niggas real, true, it's not sportsmen. They are true pioneers. Not pioneers of the game. It's a word that I'm looking for, bro. But they're, you know, they real professionals, man. That's basically what I'm trying to say. They real professionals. They do their job and they go home. You know, so that's the end of the video, man. Alright, like I said earlier in the video, please make sure y'all spam the like button, man. Comment down below what y'all think about the video, how y'all like it, man. Alright, but it's your boy Coach TDOT, and I'm up out of here, man. I love y'all.